I recently had a conversation with a former special operations soldier, and we were talking about using the breath for performance gain, for focus, and to calm down. And clearly, in his former job, there were some demands. There were high stakes, and he needed to get his head right, and so did the rest of his team. Now, you may be aware of the pattern of breathing called box breathing, which was popularized or maybe sent out to the public by the Navy SEALs. And I don't know that they created it, but they definitely used it, and they still probably use it now. I don't know, I'm not privy to that information. It's an interesting pattern. It's a 4-second inhale, a 4-second hold, a 4-second exhale, 4-second hold. The difficulty is, for some people, breathing with that duration in each part of the breath can be quite difficult. So getting to the point of executing the box breath as prescribed, generally speaking, can be troublesome. And this is what the conversation with this former soldier came to, that he said that they'd been taught that in training, they'd been taught the box breath in training, but he could never get it. And the problem was he couldn't get it because of the 4 seconds. And I'm not quite sure, I can't remember exactly which part of the pattern was problematic for him. For most people, the problem is either the 4-second exhale or the 4-second hold after the exhale. And so this got me thinking, because I've also come across this with clients and friends that I've shared this pattern with. They also struggle with it. I think the problem is that we perceive 4 seconds as being short, but if we've had no practice at breath holds or breath work that's anything like this, it really is a challenge, both physiologically and psychologically. So this is what I think we need to look at doing. If we're going to introduce something like box breathing, 4, 4, 4, 4, and repeat, we need to first gauge what is the capacity and capability of the individual right now. Is a 4-second hold or a 4-second cycle or a cycle of 4-second parts suitable? So that's number one. And number two is, can we actually create a progression into the box breath, even though it seems like 4 seconds is not very much? Because when we think about it, it's actually a 16-second cycle, and most people will be breathing cycles of 4, 5, or 6 seconds. So we're really extending what's going on with in and out breaths. And that can become anxious inducing, it can become panic inducing, and it can really challenge the body in terms of carbon dioxide tolerance and sensitivity. When we haven't practiced this before, our body gets triggered to take a breath by the carbon dioxide buildup, and if we aren't desensitized to that, it can lead to those anxious feelings and panic and just wanting to breathe normally, or taking a big breath in, which defeats the entire purpose. So what can we do to get a baseline? Well, the first thing we can do is what's called the BOLT score in Oxygen Advantage, and it's also called a controlled hold in the Buteyko method. Now what this is it gives us a measure of our carbon dioxide tolerance right now. And it's very simple to do. Sit, good posture, breathing through the nose normally, in and out, and maybe do that for 2 to 3 minutes. And then on a full exhale, pinch and hold your nose until you get the first signal to breathe. Now that's a physiological signal, and there's probably 2 places you'll feel it in the body. You may feel a little tremor in the diaphragm. What you will feel, even if you don't feel that, is a tickle in the neck, almost a tremor in the neck, a little convulsion almost. That is your first signal to breathe. And what you would do is, from the moment you pinch and hold your nose, is you would count or use a timer to determine how long you can tolerate that carbon dioxide buildup. Now this is not a maximal hold, this is just a hold up until the point where you feel that first signal to breathe. It is an indication only of your carbon dioxide tolerance right now. Now if you have a low BOLT score, let's say your BOLT score is 10, doing a cycle of breathing that's 16 seconds is going to be quite difficult. If you've had something like COVID lately, you might even have a lower BOLT score, and that means box breathing is completely inappropriate for you right now. You need to build back up to it. So understanding your BOLT score, your control hold time, that will let you know, it will give you some information about where you can enter this box breathing protocol. In fact, any other breathing protocol as well. And the second part is maybe going 4, 4, 4, 4 immediately is jumping in the deep end. So you could start that by going 2, 2, 2, 2, And when that becomes comfortable, 3, 3, 3, 3, and then you could get to the standard 4, 4, 4, 4 cycle. And once you can do that for 4, 5, 6 minutes, you may go to 5, 5, 5, 5. You can extend it out. The difficulty is jumping in the deep end and not being prepared. So what I'm suggesting is first get a baseline, understand where you are in your capabilities and your capacity to do these breathing exercises, box breathing being what we're talking about in this video, and then start small and create yourself a progression into the work. Rather than jumping in the deep end and thinking it doesn't work for me, find a way to make it work. For example, you don't run a marathon straight away. You're going to run a kilometer, 5K, a 10K. You're going to work your way up. You're going to build your capacity and your capability over time. Breath is no different. So when you're learning how to breathe functionally and correctly, be prepared to put in the work, do warm-ups, do cool-downs. You even have to do your stretching and you have to do your capacity work. And it's like a workout all of its own. If you're interested in learning more about functional breathing, about breath work, about how breath and breathing can help you get more out of life, perform better, feel better, please like this video so the algorithm does its wonderful stuff. Consider subscribing and maybe sharing with a friend. I'll be back with another video soon. Thank you very much for watching.